All right, welcome back. Throwing Hammers podcast, UFC 291 review.
Little early morning podcast for us.
Yeah, we got our coffees. We're ready.
Yeah.
So, I mean, leading up to this card, obviously, a lot of fighters that we like were on the card, and we were excited about this. I think one thing that, I was disappointed initially was that Paulo Costa's fight got moved.
Right.
So that took a good fight off the card, and then obviously the Wonder Boy fight. With Pereira missing the weight cut, or missing the weight by 3 pounds, I think it was.
Right,
and then Wonder Boy came out and just basically told it like it is. He doesn't feel like there's enough consequences for missing weight, and he's basically putting himself at risk by fighting a guy who didn't make weight and then coming in even heavier than ever, so it was kind of his decision, it seemed like, and because there was another guy missed weight too, and I think it was in the Salvador and Vergara fight. I think Vergara missed weight. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was Vergara.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's still 20% of your purse goes to the winner or whatever.
Yeah,
or 20%
you lose some money. Obviously not a good look. Doesn't help your relationship with UFC or Dana White or Hunter Campbell or anything like that. But he's definitely right. You don't get other than that. You lose 20% of your purse, but it's a pretty big advantage when you weigh more. And then like we were talking, I think it was right after the card, like, okay, so he's 3 pounds over when he weighs in. That means he's going to be 18 to 20 pounds over possibly in the cage.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, we're UFC novices, obviously, or whatever. We're not in the fight game, but I think that, I think people look at that and say, well, what's 3 pounds, whatever. But it obviously, when Wonder Boy comes back and says, yeah, forget it, that makes you realize, that is a big
deal to them.
It's a big deal to them.
And like you said, we've never really cut weight or anything like that. So obviously it's something really rough that everybody goes through, and it not, saying it's not not saying it's an easy thing to do, but it obviously affects the fight. It obviously has a huge impact on their opponent.
Yeah. So that's that. Disappointed on that. I mean, they could afford to lose, to move the Costa fight, but this, I was super excited to watch Wonder Boy again fight, and I was disappointed that this was taken off. But we got to see Derrick Lewis moved up to that main card, which was cool.
I was gonna say the good thing was they did have a hidden gem in the prelims with Derrick Lewis, so that was a main card worthy event or fight, I should say. So it's not like they moved up, something. That
any other pay-per-view, he probably would have been on the main card, but I mean, realistically, he's on the tail end of his career too, so who knows? But I mean, Derrick Lewis is still a big name and deserves to be up in that main card for sure.
Yeah, show it out.
But
about it later.
Starting off, I mean, the prelims, I thought the whole card was good. I thought all the fights were really good. But I mean, we'll touch on a couple of the prelims. I thought the Jake Matthews fight was really good, I thought. And Darius Flowers, that was his UFC debut, 291, fighting Jake Matthews. And it's weird. Jake Matthews, they said, is 26 years old. He's been in the UFC for 8 or 9 years already. What? It's crazy.
8 or 9 years.
That's what they said on the broadcast, but I got to look that up.
What, 26 you said?
I think they said he's 26.
That's incredible. I mean,
click on his name. Maybe does it say his age?
Let me see. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Irregardless of that, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC. So, and Flowers was his debut, and I thought it was a good, fight. Flowers was definitely bringing it to him. And one thing that they were saying on the broadcast too is like these UFC debut, like the guys that make their debut in the UFC it's always kind of a wild fight because these guys are coming in trying to make a name for themselves, and whoever they're fighting, it's like you gotta bring the fight to him and take it to him and you know, that's what they were saying. It's like Flowers made Jake Matthews fight, you know, and not that he wasn't going to fight, but I'm saying he was taking it to him, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's a good point. When it's your first fight in the UFC, you have to put on a performance. I mean, we talk about a lot when a guy loses a fight, but he doesn't lose any stock in his career or whatever. Like you said, he has to go out there and kind of take the fight to him. So, you know, you ensure that you look good. You know, you got to at least make an impression on the UFC on your first fight. And, you know, that's what he did.
Yeah. So one thing in that fight too, like I thought Matthews in the first round especially was doing a good job at trying to pick his spots and figure out this guy, you know, and he ended up in later parts of the first round kind of figuring out that front kick was really working and the body shots were really taking time. He took a lot of body shots at Flowers. I mean, Jake was hitting him with punches and kicks and front kicks right to the body, and you know I think that kind of ultimately led to the victory. But yeah, there was one thing in that fight too. Like one of the kicks clearly landed, right just above the belt, and the impact was in the stomach or whatever. But they called it kind of a nut shot. He went down immediately. When I was watching the fight, he went down immediately, and I thought it was a liver shot and it was done. Like I thought the fight was over.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize, and then they were saying, "Oh, they're are you okay?" and all this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, they're calling it shot to the." Then I thought, "Oh, maybe it was a shot to the nuts," and then he showed the replay, and it clearly wasn't. Clearly his foot, the impact was on the ball of his foot, and maybe the heel followed through a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So there was probably some, but I don't know.
Well, it raises an interesting question of like, what do you do when this happens, right? When a guy goes down because of a close shot, I would say, and then you watch the replay and it clearly wasn't. Should the fight be over because he went down and it wasn't an illegal shot? Clearly, from our perspective, it wasn't illegal.
I think they could have done that, is what I heard them saying on the fight. I think the referee could have ended it there.
Huh. Okay. It's more of a referee
but I don't know.
discretion.
I think it is. I don't know the rule, but maybe we can look that up. But I don't really know for sure. But it's something that I really have never seen before, and I feel like, I didn't know what they were going to do because clearly it wasn't a clear nut shot. It was like just above the belt,
right?
Right. So,
I mean, irregardless, it doesn't happen that often. You know what I mean? Where it's a clear. He went down, thought of a nut shot or whatever, and it clearly was not.
So something else happened too. It was in the so similar to this in the Vergara and Salvador fight. Vergara stopped the fight because he was claiming he got eye poked, and it was a clear punch. Like it was a punch where I think probably part of the glove got in his eye or whatever.
Figueiredo situation. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Like the glove kind of got. It was a punch. Like his, they showed the replay. You could see his hand was closed when the impact happened.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, that's where the referee comes in too. There's a lot of instances where that kind of happens, and if you get punched in the face, like that's a punch in the face. It's not an eye poke.
Even if they graze you while they do it, it's not.
So
fingers extended.
And obviously, it's hard for the referee to see that when it happens
in real time, right?
Yeah, in real time, it's super difficult. But what I think should have happened in that instance was the referee should look at the replay and just say, that was a punch, let's go right now. Like you're fighting right now.
Yeah. And if you can't, then it's over.
Get to the middle, touch gloves again, and square them up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I felt like probably should have happened with this body shot too, because I mean, if you watch the replay, I mean, it was clear in my eyes, but it wasn't. I mean, some could argue that that heel had some impact some other places, but for me, it was a clear shot to the liver. And if I saw the replay, they probably should have said to him, that was not an illegal blow. Can you continue or not?
Yeah.
right now. Can you continue? Like,
right. Because then if
get
you
up
can't,
right now.
it's a TKO, and
Yeah, because I kind of feel like if you set a precedent where that happens, then guys are just going to take advantage of it. And I feel like, especially with the eye poke situation too, if you get punched in the face, that's a punch in the face. It's not an eye poke.
Right.
And if you get hit in the liver, that's a liver kick. It's not an illegal blow. So
right. Yeah, I'd like to really look at the rules or regulations or whatever they have written about illegal blows, and like I don't even know if they have something in writing about like a borderline controversial illegal strike that
I'm sure they do,
because it's like you said, it's a tough call where maybe the heel caught him a little bit lower or maybe it didn't, and say it did, and then the referee's saying we got to continue the fight right now, and then that would obviously be unfair.
I'm sure there are rules, but like a lot of things, it's left up to the referee's interpretation of the rules, and so whatever. I'm not complaining about anything.
No.
I'm just pointing a couple things out that we thought were really interesting, and I just haven't never seen that before,
right?
In a fight where I didn't know what they were going to do, and frankly, like Rogan and DC and Anik didn't know what they were going to do either, based on their reaction.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not something we see a lot, but whatever. After that, I think those body kicks and his those front kicks were doing a ton of damage to Flowers, and then he ended up submitting him on the ground, and shortly after that. So
yeah, I was gonna say the fight kind of went the way it should have anyway. I don't think this really had too much of it didn't. Flowers lost the fight I think a couple minutes after this low blow.
Yeah.
So whatever, it didn't give him a bunch of time to recover, and then Jake Matthews a loss or something like that. So I think it kind of went the way that it should have anyway, which is good. So
yeah, it went.
Ball don't lie.
It went
situation.
good. Yeah, Jake Matthews looked really good. I thought he's good, and I didn't realize he's a black belt also, jiu-jitsu black belt. I didn't realize.
Oh
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
cool.
That's what I didn't realize either. But anyways, couple other things in the prelims. Kopylov, amazing left head kick, similar to Leon Edwards, and obviously head kicks were prevalent in this card. I mean, with Gaethje's head kick, we'll get to that. But I mean, it's this kick was unbelievable. I thought it was a good. I thought that was a good fight going back and forth. And Ribeiro, frankly, had him. He kind of had him out in the first round. Like, it was a good fight back and forth. But that Kopylov guy has a really good jab, and he's a really polished boxer. They were saying he fought in some Russian boxing league or something. I don't know what it's called. It's called something weird, but But anyways, it was good back and forth. Ribeiro had some good shots on Kopylov and had him in trouble at one point. But yeah, that left kick, it just I don't know what. I think he faked with a punch and then threw the left kick, and Ribeiro didn't even block it. It was just a clean shot.
It just came over. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I keep wanting to call this guy Kroloff instead of Kopylov.
Yeah, Kopylov. I had to look at the letters there, but yeah, I thought that was really good.
Great fight.
Bonfim, I thought looked amazing. I mean, that guy is the real deal. He came out guns a-blazing, and then just took care of Gillies by submission, and it was over. I mean, I can't wait to see what's up next for that guy, because I think he's a real. I remember his name.
He was plus 260 too. He was underdog.
Oh, was he?
Pretty sizable underdog. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Giles was minus 315.
I'm a terrible bettor, but I'm a terrible bettor and I'm a terrible predictor of what's going to happen, because I thought Tony Ferguson was going to win.
It happens. It happens.
But I'm getting called out on my TikTok account for that. But whatever. Hey,
hey,
tell me somebody who's never been wrong.
I was going to say, it's hard to. This sport, that's why it's the best, though. You absolutely never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Moving on to the main card, Kevin Holland, Michael Chiesa. I mean, Holland looked good. Chiesa did not look good. That's basically my summary of that fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like ever since Holland fought Chimaev, and it's hard to look good against Chimaev on a day's notice, so not blaming him for that. But ever since then, he's looked very good. Very good.
Well,
maybe he got a little taste of what the potential number one guy feels like and looks like in the cage.
Well, I think after that fight, like what he was saying is that he's, putting a lot of work into his takedown defense and wrestling and ground game, and you could see it against.
He was able to stuff Chiesa.
Yeah, you could see it against Chiesa because he knew that was coming.
Right.
Fighting a guy like this, he was going to try and take him down and stuffed his takedown a couple times, and Darce choked him out. It was surprising how quick that happened.
Very surprising.
So good on Kevin Holland, and I'm a fan of his, and I feel like that he's just always exciting.
Yeah.
Whatever he does, press conference, whatever, following him around, just walking around a hotel would be amazing. I would do that for a couple hours just to listen to what he's saying.
Oh, exactly. I mean, this card specifically, I feel like was all about entertainment value, and that's what you get with Kevin Holland. You're gonna get, awesome media days. You're gonna get really, really good content out of him, and then in the cage, he's a really, really exciting fighter. He's talking the whole time.
Yeah.
And he has the stuff to back it up. So, I don't know. He's one of my favorites for sure. I think he's awesome. It was cool to see him get a submission against Michael Chiesa, too. Obviously, nobody really saw it coming, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. He kept saying something about Chiesa's back, hurt his back or something.
Oh, yeah.
He kept saying that he thought Chiesa was hurt, maybe.
Yeah.
And he also thought that Chiesa wasn't going to make weight.
Oh, right. He kept saying this
Yeah.
fight's not going to happen or whatever. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He thought it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, but
ended up being Wonder Boy instead.
yeah. So whatever. I mean, good on Kevin Holland. I mean, what's next for him? Who knows? I mean, I don't know what's next for him really, but it feels like, in that what weight division is that again? Is that
Welterweight.
I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, I know.
Welterweight.
I can never get who is in what division correct. I'll always mix some guys up.
Yeah. So it seems like Kevin Holland's ranked now, number 12. I'm looking at. So
I couldn't believe he wasn't ranked before. To be honest.
So yeah, I don't know what to say about his next move. Who knows? It feels like are they going to give him somebody that's closer to a contender fight or not, or whatever? Maybe they give him someone like Sean Brady.
Right. I mean, it's tough because he beat Cowboy Oliveira, beats Tim Means, loses to Chimaev, loses to Wonder Boy, and then beats Ponzinibbio, and then beats Chiesa. So the two contenders or guys higher up in the division that he fought recently, he's lost to. But now he's beaten Ponzinibbio, who's absolutely no joke, just not up there. I don't know what he's ranked, but he's not contending for a title.
Yeah.
And then beats Michael Chiesa, who was realistically on paper a tough matchup for Holland. So hopefully, like you said, maybe he gets a Sean Brady or someone who's ranked 10 or higher,
Yeah, I mean, based on Ponzinibbio and Chiesa, he should get somebody better. I think those are two solid wins, and probably should move up and fight. Who knows? Even if it's Neil Magny,
Right.
I'd really like to see him fight Ian Gary. To be honest,
that would be
I think that
fantastic.
would be really.
That would be fantastic.
It would be an awesome matchup, but
yeah,
I mean, he's got. What's Ian Gary's got a fight coming up?
He does, yeah. Hold on.
What the heck? Oh yeah, Jeff Neal. So he's fighting Jeff Neal. That's
okay.
So that's a great fight
That's
for
a
Ian
great
Gary,
fight,
but who knows what's after that? I think Ian Gary probably beats Jeff Neal, and after that, I think if he takes out Jeff Neal decisively, I think you gotta move him up. You gotta move him up fast.
Yeah.
I think he's the same situation as
O'Malley,
like we saw with Sean O'Malley, and he gets one more good win against a guy, and he's going to get a win against a guy in the top 10. I mean, I think you move him up to to the top 5, and look at Gilbert Burns or
give him someone who's
somebody
right there. Yeah, see what he can do, because Ian Gary has been finishing people in spectacular fashion. Everybody he's fought, I feel like he He, he's very Sean O'Malley-esque, very, whatever. Even early Connor, where he's just running through people, knocking them out in magical ways.
Yeah. I was looking at what Shafkat's next fight is. He's fighting Kevin Gastelum, and
that's interesting.
But I was just looking. That's two different. This is going to be at welterweight. So Gastelum's coming down for that fight.
He looked a lot thinner in his last performance. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, so he's got to make 170.
Yeah.
Where he was 185.
Right. Maybe 185 was an easy weight cut for him. I don't know. His last fight, he seemed to be in a lot better shape than in recent fights. He was bouncing around.
That's going to be a really interesting fight.
Yeah. Gastelum, has he ever fought at 170?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but
yeah, he's had a long
seems
career.
Like he's been around forever, but he's not that old.
No,
I don't know how old he is, but I think he's early 30s, which is surprising. He's not.
Yeah,
he's been around a long time, but
yeah, I thought he was up there a little bit, maybe 38, 37 or something.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know for sure, but anyways, he's fought the best of the best. So, I mean, they're giving him Shafkat, Shafkat's the next killer in this division and league, and I think he's going to be a champion eventually. But
yeah, definitely.
So who knows? So, all right, enough on that. I lost my place here.
Talk a little Tony Ferguson.
Let's move on. Yeah, I really thought Tony Ferguson was going to have a better showing. He just didn't look that fast. He didn't look. I was watching all these videos of the upcoming, whatever, embeddeds and all this, and I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, he looks good. He's talking. He's got a different mindset and all this. Like, unfortunately, he's just not going anywhere. I mean, he's just got to retire at this point. I feel like because, unless he's going to take another super fight or something like that, he's just not contending for anything.
Yeah, unless he fights like a Nick Diaz or something like that. I don't know. Like you said, though, it seemed like he had a different mindset going into this fight. I heard a sound bite of him saying, 4 to 5 tight fights till the title or whatever. It's like,
yeah, I just don't see that. It's hard to watch that. It's hard for me to watch that because, a lot of these guys I'm huge fans of, and Tony Ferguson's one of them, but it's hard to watch. You think about, you got to just give yourself a reality check and say, this is not the same fighter that it used to be.
Right.
And I got caught up kind of in thinking that, we're going to see some of the old Tony Ferguson. It's like, we just didn't.
Yeah.
We just didn't. The best he looked was right before he got knocked out against Chandler.
I was going to say, against Chandler, he looked great.
I mean, he was piecing Chandler up before that. And it was, it was whatever. But his next 2 fights, he just is not the same guy. And he, Bobby Green, all credit to Bobby Green because that guy is an incredible boxer, and he was just tagging him repeatedly over and over again. And Tony had his moments, he definitely
did. He
definitely, had his moments, but I don't think he had Green in any kind of trouble whatsoever that I remember throughout the fight at all.
Nothing of real danger. No. Yeah.
No.
And, not taking anything away from Bobby Green, obviously. Great performance. But
no,
Tony
I thought
Ferguson's just not, whatever. It happens. And
Bobby Green's a legit danger when you're fighting him because he's got tremendous boxing.
Yeah.
And
we've said it before, but this is not a sport for whatever nice goodbyes. It's usually a rough way out.
It's unfortunate. I don't know if I didn't see a post fight interview with him with Tony, and I don't think he did a post fight interview unless I'm wrong, which I'm probably wrong, but I didn't see one, I didn't hear him say anything after the fight, so I'm not really sure what his plan is or whatever, but in my opinion, I don't think there's definitely not a path moving forward. The only path that I would see is another matchup with another veteran that is on the downturn.
Yeah.
And I don't know who that would be, but
anyways.
I mean,
whatever. It's not like I wouldn't like to see him fight again against someone like that. It would be cool.
I don't know.
But yeah,
but maybe this was it though.
It's tough to watch.
Bobby Green's been around a long time too, so who knows?
You're right. Yeah.
So I don't even know who to suggest on that, but yeah, it's disappointing. I bet on Ferguson. I thought he was going to win. Not that I bet a lot, but I'm just saying I thought he was going to win. But all credit to Bobby Green submitting him. I mean, I don't know how many submission wins Bobby Green has had in his career. Yeah. Not many.
Right.
I think they actually said something like 6 or 7 or something like that during the broadcast.
Right now, yeah.
8. Okay, so 8 in his career. He's had 46 fights or something.
Fights,
so yeah,
fights.
So not many, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Bobby Green's been around a long time. He seems to be coming up on cards left and right, and he's always, having Bobby Green and Kevin Holland on the same card. It was just
and Derrick Lewis.
I mean, it's it's pretty amazing, especially press conference wise and whatever. We didn't see too much going on in the press conferences, other than Bobby Green kind of yelling at Ferguson a little bit about their text messages back and forth. But
yeah,
but other than that, we didn't see too much. Whatever, not too much controversy there. So
yeah, always entertaining though. Always,
Yeah.
Going back to this card was an entertainment value card. They put everybody on there who.
Yeah.
That's why I love Gaethje so much, or Chandler. It's like they just.
Yeah.
They go out there to.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of like. I mean, this card I thought was going to bring out a little hatred between the fighters, and I always like to see that, especially press conferences. I don't know. It's just entertainment for me to have a little bit back and forth thing, but there was a lot of love going around in this. I mean, there's a lot of like a lot of these guys just like each other. You know what I mean? It's hard to like. It's hard for me to get past that mental block of like you guys are going to be punching each other in the face, and you guys.
It's definitely a weird.
It's hard for me to like. I just don't. I understand the respect and everything like that, but these guys genuinely like each other, and I think Gaethje and Poirier genuinely like each other, and I just feel like, man, it is tough to fight somebody you like, so
it's tough to like we'll get there, but speaking of Gaethje and Poirier, it's tough to like knock someone out and then like hit them again when they're on the ground, but you have to.
Well,
you know what I mean? When you like them, it's like you got to finish the fight, but it's
the
like
sport. I mean,
you're hammer fisting someone in the forehead after you just.
I mean, there's other sports I think about this with. I think about it with football. Like I think about two brothers playing against each other, which has happened a lot in the NFL, and I think about it with hockey. Two brothers. We saw two brothers fight in the Foligno brothers fought each other in, which is weird to see in hockey or whatever. But, it was, but there's nothing like this. There's nothing like, obviously, but you see it on the other spectrum too. I mean, you see guys that absolutely can't stand each other. Okay. And we're going to see that coming up with Duplessis and Izzy. They hate each other.
Yeah.
But then you see guys that just won't fight each other either, and we see that with I'm thinking of
it's Aljo and
Aljo and Yair, right?
No, wait,
no, who is it?
Aziz?
No,
what's his name?
Who's in his camp?
I know this is.
And Marab.
Oh, Marab.
Yeah. So Aljo and Marab are in the same.
I was like, who was the guy who was in the ring with Sean O'Malley, taking his jacket? I'm like, that's that.
Yeah. So we see it on that spectrum too, where two guys just won't fight each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like Marab is only hurting himself by not taking that fight against Aljo, really. And he's the number one contender. And where does he go from there?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think Dana White's too happy about that whole situation.
Yeah, well, O'Malley's got the fight now, so. But anyways, so yeah, we see it back and forth, and we see guys that have hated each other, and we see guys that are out there just to cause drama, like Colby and Connor, and
yeah, exactly.
There's guys that just play characters basically and turn it into a WWE kind of atmosphere, and that's not really what I'm talking about. I just like to see guys, jab back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, no,
I think Colby and Connor are a little too over the top for me. I just like you guys are just like they're trying too hard, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
you
right.
know.
At least Connor is a little bit clever. Colby is not, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, in the past, Connor has been the best fight promoter around, but
Right.
I thought lately, I mean,
Yeah.
he's just been a jackass in my opinion.
The
But
tough season has been. We'll talk about it in a different episode.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about his last fight and his last, even
Oh,
against
right.
Poirier. It's like he was just acting like a total jackass,
Yeah.
like just on purpose, an idiot, you
Yeah.
know, and whatever. It is what it is. Because the previous fight, he was being Mr. Nice Guy and buying his hot sauce and all.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like so stupid. Anyways,
Yeah.
it is what it is. We're not going to talk about Connor. Let's move on to
Derrick Lewis.
so anything else on Ferguson? So
No, not
I
really,
don't-
to be honest.
I don't see
Yeah.
anything else, but I see Bobby Green taking more fights like this and you know, being Bobby Green. That's what he does. So
Right, exactly.
I like him. I think he's good for the sport. He's a good fighter, and I think he's got a lot of, you know, tread left on his tires to do some damage still. So good on that. All right, we'll move on. Derrick Lewis against De Lima. I think that you know, this fight was the featured prelim. I think got moved up to the spot that Wonder Boy vacated when Pereira missed weight. So incredible. I don't know what to say. Like, I watched that replay a couple times, and I don't even know how he landed that knee. It's like the from where he started, like with it. I watched his right leg plant, and then just, you know, his whole. I mean, it was incredible the amount of force he moved forward with, like his body, and you know, taking his left knee up and just landing it right on the chin. I mean, you know, De Lima was kind of like this already, but it just split his gloves like right in the middle. Perfect shot.
No, you're totally right. I was gonna say one thing. Sometimes when you watch a flying knee like this in real time, where he jumps from pretty far, it doesn't look like it lands that hard. It looks like he just it lands in his guard.
I didn't think it landed at all.
Did not.
Yeah, I didn't think it landed at all. Initial when the fight started, I was like, oh, he hit him, but he went down. But I feel like he hit him with maybe his gloves. You know, hit him in his gloves or whatever. Yeah, but it didn't. It went right through.
Right through. Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the time, it doesn't look as impactful as it really was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever. But he hit him square, looked right in the nose, basically, or whatever.
Kind of like right there.
Yeah.
I mean, right in the.
Yeah, and it was over from there. It was over when it started. You know.
Yeah, that was basically the whole fight right there. Knocked him down. You know. Got some ground and pound, TKO stoppage, and, you know, I thought, you know, a couple things on Derrick Lewis. It's like the guy looks incredible. Like he looks like, you know,
got a six-pack now.
Still, you know, weighed in at 262 or something, but obviously cut a lot of fat. You know, said that he stopped drinking root beer. He loves root beer. You know, I mean, if you haven't watched post-fight interviews or
fantastic.
I mean, he's just a great. Obviously, we don't have to tell you guys, but it's like he's just amazing.
Yeah,
and
I know that. Definitely go watch those because it's just hilarious.
He's just amazing. Yeah. So, super funny guy, and you know, doesn't. I don't know. It's weird because he doesn't like bring a lot of attention to himself. He's just funny. Like he's
He's very like
like,
soft-spoken, funny. Like just like I don't know. Yeah, you said. Like
I mean, even like his Instagram, it's like he just posts those things like he's okay or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like all those things are like these traumatic things happening, and he's like he's okay.
He's the best. Yeah, like you said, he never tries too hard or like anything like that. He's just
I thought it was super
himself.
I thought it was. I mean, it was just obviously hilarious. Him taking off his shorts in the ring or whatever, and like I couldn't believe how Rogan just couldn't stop laughing. Like he was just cracking up.
He was laughing so hard, and DC's like, "You got to get it together, man. You got to go interview this guy." Yeah. Yeah, so that was really good. I mean, whatever. Great to see Derrick Lewis have another solid performance. I mean, he was on a little bit of a losing streak a couple fights ago.
Yeah, and he just retook sole possession of the most knockouts
right?
in UFC history. So
22.
Yeah, so amazing on that. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I think, you know, obviously Derrick Lewis on the downturn of his career, but yeah, I mean, obviously still entertaining, people still want to see him fight, and I think,
Of course.
don't think he's done yet for sure.
Definitely not. No, I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't ranked before this fight. I assume the rankings came out today, or the updated ones. Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know what we can look now, but
I'm just looking really quick. He is now ranked 10.
oh,
Was
so
he not? Maybe he was ranked before that. It doesn't say he was ranked on the UFC like 291.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, the heavyweight division is so sporadic anyway. It's like he could just have realistically, he could piece a couple wins in a row and be right back in contention. That's just how the heavyweight division is. I think guys just fall in and out of, favor so easily. And I think that a couple losses, you string together a couple losses in the heavyweight division, it seems like these guys are just kind of done after that. But
yeah.
But who knows? There's obviously some real contenders in that division, and Sergey Pavlovich is the guy that everyone's excited about, and I'm excited too. And I kind of wish he was fighting John Jones next instead of Stipe, but
Yeah.
I understand Stipe is whatever. This is going to be a great matchup, but I just hope Jones doesn't retire after that, which he's probably
supposed to, I guess.
Probably supposed to. Whatever. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But anyways, it'd be nice to see him kind of go through some of these killers in the division. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, whatever. He's getting old. Maybe he doesn't want to taint the whole never was beaten thing. But
yeah. Whatever. It's obviously up to him. Whatever. Yeah. Not too worried about that. But I think that Derrick Lewis, obviously, great win on him.
Like you said,
entertaining as
couple
usual.
More wins could be right back in the picture. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So who knows where he goes from here? But anyways, let's move on from that because that was 33 seconds knockout.
Yeah, not too much more on that. Fight was over when it started. So
yeah, co-main event: Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. Controversial, went the distance.
Yeah. One of only 2 decisions on the whole card. Everything else was finished.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Very exciting card. Entertainment value. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Before we were doing this podcast, I kept thinking about this fight and who I really thought win. And to be honest, I just don't know. You could see it either way. And I when I watched the fight, I don't know. If I was going to have to be forced to make a decision, I'd probably go with Pereira. I think he probably did the more damage. But I mean, Blachowicz took him down in the first round, kept him down in the first round.
Yeah.
Tried to submit him in the first round.
Yep.
But really good on Pereira because that kind of shows the rest of the world that he has been working on his
ground game.
Ground game defense, because obviously that's been, that was going to be Blachowicz's game plan, was to take him down.
Right.
And he did. Got on his back, couldn't choke him out. Yeah. So couldn't do that, but, and then the second round, kind of showed Blachowicz was gassed after that.
Right.
Right. And then Pereira's just got those friggin', those little kicks that he does where it's like,
yeah.
I kept looking at him because I think it was Rogan or DC just kept saying how he throws it without even turning his hips. Like he's just boom, 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 like he's just flicking his leg out there.
Right.
And Blachowicz's bottom of his leg is
it
looked like
fucked.
It looked like it got bit by the biggest spider out there.
Yeah.
Like it was a welt on the side, like he had a growth on the side of his calf or whatever.
Exactly.
And man, it's just those kicks. And to Blachowicz's credit too, he was throwing some good kicks too, and Pereira's legs were beat up too, but nothing like that. It was just bizarre how quick and fast twitching that those kicks are. It's
right.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say about Pereira too was I think he learned a lot from this recent Izzy loss, because there was a point where he had Blachowicz hurt against the cage, and he didn't just start teeing off on his head, left, right, right, left, right. Like he threw a couple punches, stepped back, threw a couple body shots, combinations. Like he didn't seem so eager when he had someone hurt, which was
I tend to think he was almost not eager enough. Like, I think he could have knocked him out.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think that was in the back of his head is that, I was aggressive and I got knocked out against Izzy.
Yeah.
And he knew that Blachowicz has knockout power, obviously. But I think he could have. I think he could have ended it. I really do.
Yeah.
And
That's
I think he was almost a little too patient, in my opinion. But anyways, how could you not be? How could you not be patient? After you get knocked out, we saw that with Usman.
Yeah.
We saw that with Usman. He was like, you go back and watch that Usman fight. That's not the same guy.
One against.
Yeah. After he got head kicked.
Yeah. Not the same guy.
Oh,
changed him.
Right. It completely changed him.
Yeah.
It completely made him non-aggressive.
Yeah.
And you could see the whole fight. He was waiting for that head kick coming up. Right. Like he was, and that's got to be in the back of your head, obviously, if you get knocked out. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Like I said, I thought it was an entertaining fight, good fight, back and forth. Decision to Pereira, split decision. One of the judges had it for Blachowicz. I think Blachowicz. I saw some things after the fight, Twitter or whatever, saying that he thinks he got robbed, or whatever. Saying that he thinks he won the fight, all this stuff, which whatever.
Could have gone either way. I will say that, but it wasn't a performance where I was like, oh, it definitely went either way. I didn't think it went for sure either way.
No, I was watching the decision, not really knowing what was going to happen. Like some decisions, obviously, fights go to a decision. You're like, pretty much know what's going to happen here, but I didn't know what was going to happen here because Blachowicz took him down the first round, lost the second round. Third round was.
I was going to say it was 1-1 going.
Third round was kind of back and forth. I think Pereira got the better of it, but then Blachowicz ended up taking him down at the end of the round again.
Yeah.
Didn't do much damage, didn't do anything with it, but you never know what the judges are going to give you credit for. Are they going to give you credit for the takedown even though you didn't do anything with it?
Yeah. And it was a split decision. So one of the judges gave him credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or more credit. And now Pereira's in an interesting spot because Blachowicz was ranked third. He beat him. So now Pereira is ranked third after the first fight in the division. So now he's in a real interesting spot.
He's number 2 now, actually. Hold on.
I got it right here.
Oh, you got the rankings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It did say number 2 on the UFC, like the 291 page of their website. It said number 2. And then I clicked on, I went to the rankings, and it says it's number 3. So whatever, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting division, and I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like there's not that many really good fighters in that division, but I feel like the next. I mean, obviously Jamal Hill tore his Achilles tendon. He's gonna be out for a long time, so that's why he vacated the belt. And I really think probably I'm hoping to see Pereira fight Prochazka.
Yeah.
Hopefully Prochazka's coming, recovering from what they're saying is like the worst shoulder injury that UFC doctors have ever seen, which is crazy.
Nuts.
But anyways, hopefully the timeline is going to line up for Pereira's next fight to fight Prochazka because that should be for the belt, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be very cool. You also have Ankalaev in the mix. Dana White doesn't seem to like him very much. So,
no, I don't know. Who knows about that? He's in the same position that Blachowicz was. I don't know when he's going to fight again, but the draw with Blachowicz really soured Dana White for some reason. With whatever, I think that was totally ridiculous how he reacted because I thought that was a great fight actually.
I thought it was a great fight. Yeah.
But anyways, that division, hopefully we see Pereira fight Prochazka and then maybe Jamal Hill after that. Jamal Hill gets the winner, obviously, of that fight. Won't be probably for at least probably a year from now. I'm assuming Achilles tendons injuries are brutal to come back from. So it's definitely, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Right, exactly.
But all right, that's all I got on that. Really, I think it caught. Like I said, could have went either way, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think both guys did enough to win, but at the same time, they both didn't do enough to win convincingly.
Right.
That's my final thought on that.
Yeah, you're right. And you got to, like they say, you can't leave it to the judges. So,
Right.
Even though that happens a lot. It was weird. I just got a flashback to that Vergara and Salvador fight. Like, one funny thing from that, just a quick side note.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. The first couple rounds of that, they looked like they were trying not to hurt each other. If you go back and watch that again, just watch that again and keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Because even the announcers were like, yeah, Salvador looks like he's sparring. Like, he's throwing punches and he's just taking something off at the end. It's just like it was kind of weird. Yeah, it was just a weird, I don't know. But you think about, like, some of these guys go out there guns blazing and like are going to kill you. These guys literally looked like they didn't want to hurt each, like they didn't want to get hurt and they didn't want to hurt each other.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a side note.
No, yeah.
Because it got me thinking about, obviously, the main event with Poirier and Gaethje. Like, these guys are just
Caution
whatever.
to the
Obviously,
wind.
why they're the BMF, fighting for the BMF title. Vergara and Salvador are not fighting for the BMF title anytime soon. I can tell you that, because it's just funny how you see some guys are out there just trying not to get hurt.
Yeah, or like
don't know.
conserving or whatever they're doing, whatever the game plan was with that. Yeah. Other guys have the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Gaethje, Poirier.
It's just weird. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, moving on, biggest anticipated fight of the year for me. You know, I love Justin Gaethje, probably my favorite fighter on the roster.
Yeah.
And I also like Poirier a lot, and I just feel like there were times I didn't like Poirier so much, and I don't know, I go through times where I'm like, I like him and I don't like him, but how can you not like a guy? And you look at his resume, and how can you not like a guy that has so many quality wins?
Right.
And the guy is just, a legend, like UFC Hall of Famer. Put him in right now.
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. A very, very long career in the UFC. Has fought fucking everybody.
Right.
Twice.
And and that's the thing. It's like they only have a few losses in between Gaethje and Poirier, and both of their each of their losses are against Oliveira and Makhachev. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on.
The guys guarding the top of the division.
They pretty much beat everybody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
right. This is a super, super interesting matchup. Like you said, probably one of the most anticipated fights of the year for me.
And it didn't go, obviously, like you said, you never know what's going to happen in this sport, and this fight did not go like I thought it was going to go. Yeah. I would have never predicted one of these guys would have got knocked out.
Yeah, not clean like that anyway.
No.
I
just didn't.
Not like this.
Did not see that coming, but obviously that's why it's a great sport, because you don't see that stuff coming, and a lot of times it happens, and it's a shocker, and this was the kick heard around the world, because Gaethje, I don't know how many finishes he has by head kick, because I don't even know. I don't even remember any, to be honest.
I definitely don't remember any.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more known for his low kicks and beating guys' legs up, and that's kind of how he wins fights. He stays in the fight by letting, go ahead and hit me in the head, but I'm gonna beat the crap out of your legs, and you're not gonna be standing very well in the second round.
Right. Exactly.
And we've seen that numerous times against Chandler, or all these guys, Ferguson that he beat up, and we've seen that over and over again, that's his game plan. He's probably one of the best low kickers in the UFC
for sure.
And even he said after the fight, he's like, they threw, I think he threw one or two high kicks in the first round, and it was funny how his reaction to it was like, I didn't even know the high kicks were working. Like, I didn't know, because I think the couple he threw were kind of, they were blocked by Poirier, sort of, and not, didn't really do much. But I mean, he had the same
combination as Leon.
Same combination as Leon, where punch comes in, kick comes up right behind it, and Poirier, it was just the perfect timing, the perfect kick, and caught him with that, and
like you said, it was just the perfect combination. Caught him clean.
Yeah, and obviously it's disappointing for Poirier. It's disappointing for Poirier fans, but these things happen, and it could have easily happened to Gaethje too. So
Right. That's the thing when you have a fight between two guys like this. It's like, I don't know. It feels like I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, something terrible could happen to either one of them. Like
yeah, and
at any moment.
And I get nervous for these fights too because I know it's like, man, these guys are going to end up in the hospital after, like for sure. Because you get two guys like this, or Gaethje and Fiziev, or Gaethje and Chandler, it's like what's going to happen. Like you just can see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
100%.
But I mean, looking at the first round, I kind of gave the first round to Poirier. I thought. I mean, it was really back and forth, but I think Poirier did more of the damage, cut Gaethje above his left eye.
Yeah.
And I felt like that. I don't know. Obviously, that round could have went either way because I thought Gaethje was doing some good damage too, and was beating up that leg again.
Right.
I think in the first 10, 20 seconds of the fight, he landed 4 leg kicks.
Yeah.
So
he started that very early.
Right.
I like when a guy, obviously it wasn't a very long fight, but I like when a guy, and it's a big trend now, where they come out and they build up that leg kick throughout the whole fight.
They're investing in it. It's like investing in it. It's like you're investing in that paying dividends the next round or round 3 or round 5, whatever. And it's the same thing with body shots. Guys forget about going to the body, but those body shots accumulate and they add up.
Yeah.
You take shots to the body repeatedly, 5, 6, 7, 10 body shots. We saw it with Jake Matthews. That guy's, Flowers was in trouble. Like the guy got kicked in the body. So like Flowers kicked him, or Matthews kicked him, and the guy, you could see it in his face. Like that was the only thing that was stopping him from moving forward. Like Matthews would kick him in the body, and then he was almost like putting his mouthpiece out because he was just like gasping for breath after those body kicks, you know? So I feel like, but you're right. Gaethje does the same thing. It's like investing in the later rounds, investing in doing damage to those legs, investing in counting on you're not going to be real happy in the second round when you can't put a lot of pressure on that one leg and your punches are not coming through with the intensity that they once were in the first round. So
I mean, like you said, it's more prevalent now within the past 5 or 6 years, these leg kicks.
Well, yeah, and the calf kick particularly. The calf kick has changed the game.
You debilitize someone's leg.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
and Gaethje doesn't, I mean, he throws calf kicks, but I think he was in the last fight, he was really like, the first fight they fought was really hitting the upper part of the leg, the thigh, inner thigh area.
Yeah.
And really kind of taking that part out. But I don't know. It was an amazing knockout. I'm happy Gaethje won. I think that we're seeing the best Justin Gaethje we've ever seen, and I think we've seen that even in the first round. He was aggressive, but not. He's not going to stand in the pocket like he used to and just throw. And even going back to the Chandler fight, it's like he was forced to do that with Chandler. I feel like because Chandler was just in his face the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like whatever they wanted to do, both of those fighters wanted to do before the fight, they were just going to stand in the pocket the whole time either way.
Well, and I think that was mostly on Chandler because Chandler forced him to do that. And Chandler took the fight to him and said, I'm going to stand here and throw, and I'm going to force you to be the old Justin Gaethje, and I'm hopefully going to knock you out. It didn't work out for Chandler, but I think that was a difference between that fight and this fight with Poirier. Poirier is a much smarter fighter. He picks his spots. He's a much more technical boxer where Gaethje, swings roundhouse punches at you and swings with everything he's got, every punch. You know what I mean? He's looking for every punch is a knockout punch for Chandler.
Yeah. Oh,
and obviously exciting to watch, whatever, but, probably not the smartest game plan all the time. But anyways, I mean, you can't discredit Chandler. The guy's great.
Right.
Almost knocked out Oliveira.
Yeah.
Had him knocked out. One more punch when Oliveira was on the ground. That fight would have been over.
The trajectory of
the
UFC would have been
this
changed.
close to being over, and Chandler beating Oliveira for sure.
Right.
But you could say that about these other two guys too in their fights with Oliveira. Gaethje had Oliveira down. Same with Poirier. Sure, it was like, they took it to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to Oliveira's credit, I mean, obviously the guy's a great fighter and overcame beat all three of these guys.
Yeah, right.
So amazing on that. But going back to this fight, yeah, amazing win for Gaethje. Disappointing for Poirier, obviously, but things happen, and he realizes that too, and it's like, what are you gonna do? And
right. That's just how the sport is. You never know what's gonna happen, especially when it's a fight like this. Like you said, there's a reason it was for the BMF. These guys just go at it, and it's it just happens. And Poirier's he's still gonna be around. He's still gonna have I think you were telling me you saw him say he's not done. He's gonna be around, wants to fight.
Yeah. So the post-fight interview with Poirier, I watched
matchups.
Yeah, I watched both of the post-fight interviews with both of these guys. I was up till like 3 a.m. watching all that, but yeah, Poirier, he wants to fight, but it's got to make sense for him, and I don't know what that is. And he didn't call out any names. He didn't say anything that makes sense for him.
Yeah,
they did ask him, does he have any interest in fighting any of the up-and-comers in the division, and he paused for about 10 seconds and just said no. And that, and Poirier said it over and over again. He doesn't need to fight. He wants to fight. His family's set.
Right.
He's got enough money that he's comfortable, and he doesn't need to fight. Yeah. So who knows? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what's next for him. I thought about it long and hard after he said that, and I don't even know what's next for him.
Poirier Chandler, if this counter fight doesn't happen.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if that excites him or not. I saw Chandler tweeting about after the fight, and Gaethje's, to Gaethje, and said, now you need somebody to defend it against. And Poirier retweeted and said, shut the fuck up, asshole. Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Shut your ass up or something, he said. Who knows? I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
And Gaethje was funny after the fight too. His post-fight press conference, when they asked him about kind of like what's next or whatever, and obviously he wants to fight, for the belt next, and deservedly so. He should fight for the belt next. Right. But they were asking him a whole bunch of questions. They're asking him about, do you do it? Is there a trilogy between you and Poirier? And he said after the fight, they both said to each other, let's agree this is the last time we do this, because I think they just both were kind of like didn't want to do it again in the first place. But Gaethje wanted redemption, and he talked about redemption and the whole thing. And but then in the next breath, he said, I'm not going to deny him. I'm not going to deny him another shot. Right. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But he said right out, I don't want that to be my next fight.
Yeah, no. I mean, right. And who knows what Gaethje does? I mean, he said he's making one more run at the title, and then that's probably
it. This is going to be it right now.
So does he fight for the title, win or lose, and then Poirier super fight trilogy in a couple of years? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he takes some time off, comes back, and finishes.
Yeah, if he wins the belt, does he give Poirier a shot at the belt?
I mean, that's how it would make the most sense for the both.
But I think if he wins the belt against Makhachev, that's got to be an instant rematch.
It's got to be an instant rematch. Yeah. That's the thing. So it's going to be
or if he wins
potentially two fights away.
Yeah, we may never see that, because what I'm thinking too is that even if Oliveira wins the belt and he beats Oliveira, there's a rematch there too, because that would be a trilogy fight.
And then there's still Makhachev, who should eventually get a rematch for the belt as well. If he loses to Oliveira, I'm saying
maybe you see, if Makhachev loses against Oliveira, maybe you see Makhachev and Poirier.
Right.
And then the winner of that is next for the belt.
Right. That's probably what would happen. Yeah, that's probably what would happen. Have the two, not the two losers, but the two guys who lost their most recent fights.
Are you calling them losers?
No, they would both kill me.
We don't really, not offending anybody. Don't come after us.
Yeah, please.
Anyways, I think that's probably the game plan.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, not the game plan, but probably how it'll play out.
Yeah.
But I thought Gaethje was funny after the his post-fight interview was funny too. And they asked him about Chandler tweeting or whatever, Chandler, and he's like, I thought you have to lose to fight Chandler. That's what he said. So that's what he said about that. And then it was then they asked him about then they asked him about Conor, because Conor was like they said he was one of the first ones to start talking shit about Gaethje right away, and Gaethje just blatantly just came out and said, I'm not fighting anybody that did steroids.
Yeah.
And that's whatever. It's kind of the truth. And I think, I don't know, I got a lot to say about Conor, and I'm not going to get into it now, but I feel like he's making an idiot of himself. Like, he should just shut up. Yeah. That's just the way I feel right now. I'm a huge Conor fan, but at this point in his career, if you're not going to take the fight against Chandler, or you can't figure out how to get to that point,
right?
Then what are we doing here? Like, this is it. What are we doing? Like, I'm not trying to start an argument with you because I know you're a big Conor fan, but I'm just saying, it's like, I feel like you can't even get to that fight, what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So what are you?
You're 100% right.
Obviously, you're just spouting off like an idiot.
Right.
Like, you're not going to get a Gaethje fight. So you're dude. The way
you got to get in the testing pool.
The way I feel about it, dude, you're old news.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Go beat somebody first, because you haven't won. Number one, you haven't won a fight in a long time.
Yeah.
Number two, you can't start calling out the best fighter in the UFC, one of the best fighters in the UFC right now,
right,
and saying, "Oh, I'll knock him out with one punch." Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's like me saying that at this point, to be honest. It's like, that's the way I feel about it. I'm like,
no, you're right. He has to.
I'm just like offended by it almost, because I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Get in the fucking ring.
Yeah. Well, right. He has a fight against Chandler. Like, he has to. That's not going to happen until 2024 because he didn't fucking.
We don't even know if it's ever going to happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
right,
he has to prove his relevancy inside the octagon by fighting Chandler and beating Chandler, and then possibly he could fight maybe like Dariush or Poirier. No, not Poirier. They fought 3 times, but. Maybe the fourth,
you're right.
Because the last was the leg break. Who knows? Whatever. He has to fight Michael Chandler and beat Michael Chandler.
Right. And he's got to beat. Yeah, right. If he does that, go ahead. Talk all the shit you want, because that's an impressive win.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if he doesn't come back and beat Chandler convincingly or whatever, have a great fight against Chandler, yeah, then maybe he's in the conversation. Right now, dude, you don't even have a fight scheduled. So shut up.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. Get that fight scheduled. And get back into relevancy, because you're irrelevant.
Right.
You really are. Until the guy has a fight scheduled, or we see something come of that, the guy's irrelevant.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I'm talking about today, not in the history of the UFC. Today, he's irrelevant.
As far as the current rankings
go,
yes. But one counterpoint. He has a job in the UFC currently. And that's to stir shit up. And I think part of him is doing his job by tweeting at the guy who wins in his division and this and that.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. At this point,
what he has done throughout his whole career is promote fights and get eyeballs onto the UFC.
Yeah, he's by far the best at it. But right now, I'm almost, like I said, I'm almost just... Every time he tweets, I just feel like retweeting and say irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because right now, unless you get in the ring, you're irrelevant.
And you're 100% right.
Yeah. But you're right too. I feel like, there's never been another guy that has been better at promoting fights than him.
Right.
Best ever.
And I think that's just still what he's doing. I don't think he seriously would think he would get the next fight against Gaethje.
No, of course not. But you're right. He's just trying to get eyes on him.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. To me,
but you're 100% right.
To me, it's
he has to beat Michael Chandler.
You want eyes back on you, then get in the ring and beat Chandler.
Right.
Don't just spout off about it on Twitter like you're gonna knock out Gaethje with one punch, which nobody's ever done.
I agree. No, you're right. You're definitely right.
So, anyways, but yeah, I don't know. So I think that's the plan for Gaethje. The plan for Poirier, I don't know what the plan is on that, but maybe he waits around and sees how things shake out, and maybe we see him, like I said, maybe we see him fight the loser of Oliveira and Makhachev.
Yeah,
because I think that would probably get him excited,
exactly,
and that would probably get him back in the ring.
And it would make a lot of sense as far as the rankings go, unless they want to pull someone up from 6 and down. But I don't know. I think that would make the most sense. And then that's kind of their last go at the belt, probably.
Yeah, I mean that division is just ridiculously talented.
It's probably my favorite division
as far as that goes. But
the UFC.
But I mean, once you get past the top 5, you're really looking at. I don't think you have the talent that was once around in that division, unless you're throwing Conor back in the mix or whatever. But I mean, realistically, I think once things play out, and I think I think Dariush is pretty much done for his title chances right now. Yeah. And I don't know what's next for him, but maybe we see like I want to see Fiziev take the next step. Like I want to see Fiziev come up because his fight against Gaethje was awesome, and he didn't lose any stock in that fight. Right. I didn't think. He lost against arguably one of the best, or if not the best besides Makhachev and Oliveira, the best in the division. So but maybe we see him fight Dariush. Let's see him fight. Let's do it. Why don't we get Fiziev and Chandler? Like, if Conor's not going to do it, I can't believe, like, that's the other thing that I think about. Chandler's older. Like, he's 36, 37 years old. He doesn't have many fights left. This was he's been wanting this fight against Conor forever. Yeah. And he finally got it, sort of. Yeah. And now it's not coming to fruition. This was going to be his, like, I'm pretty sure this was going to be his one last payday, and probably retire after that. Right.
Right. Unless he tries to make a run, but
I just don't think he's got a run in him. I mean, he's lost too many fights to say that. Right. Okay, he's the next best fighter when you've already got Poirier hanging in the wings, and then you got Fiziev coming up.
And don't forget, he's already been a dominant champion for a long time in Bellator.
Right. So that's what I mean. I mean, how many more fights does Chandler really have? And if he doesn't get the fight against Conor, he's probably got a couple more fights left. So who do you put him up against? I say Fiziev. Let's see it. Like, come on, that is a super amazing fight. Like, that's another fight that is going to be a car crash. You know what I mean? Exactly. So what's going to happen in that fight before it even happens.
Definitely.
And I mean, just looking at that, you give Fiziev Chandler or you give him Dariush and see what he can do. Yeah. And I think Dariush probably beats him. That's my opinion. Yeah. But
it's a good fight, that's for sure. I will interrupt you for 1 second. We do have a meeting in 1 minute.
Oh shit, I forgot. All right, so let's wrap this up.
I didn't mean to cut it short.
No, that's okay. We're pretty much done anyway, but those are good options. Those are great,
Yeah, I mean, Chandler, is it Fiziev?
Fiziev.
Is it Fizz? I remember whenever
we already went through this 100 times.
And we talked about it for 20 minutes before the podcast.
How to pronounce his name.
We've heard other people say it both ways, and it's like, whatever, dude.
How to pronounce his name. All right, we both have real jobs, so we got to go to our real jobs right now.
Yep, we got a little sales meeting.
So we have a sales meeting now, but hey, tune in on our other channels. Our TikTok is kind of blowing up. We got over 8,000 followers now on TikTok, so we're posting some clips on there. We are looking to hire a video editor, so if anybody has video editing experience, and we're kind of looking for somebody that's,
relatively knowledgeable,
maybe with the UFC, knows some of the guys, knows some things, what you might want to clip out for us. We're looking to take this long form podcast and clip it up into social media clips and smaller YouTube clips. So if you're interested, send us a message either on Instagram or TikTok or DM us on any of our channels if you're interested. So let us know.
Cool.
Other than that,
DM the 5 City main account.
You can follow us at 5 City MMA. Throwing Hammers podcast, and we'll be back.
Cool. All right. Really appreciate it, guys. We got a meeting, so we got to run.
Yep.
But all right. See you later.